let's queer up education. Queer book banning is real with more than 4,000 in America. This school year, a new report from PEN America sheds light on a concerning trend in education across the United States. According to the report, there has been a dramatic escalation in book bans, with over 4,000 instances reported in the first half of the 2023-24 school year alone. This marks a dramatic increase from the previous year and signals an unprecedented wave of censorship in public schools. These bans, spanning across 42 states, have disproportionately targeted books dealing with sexual violence, LGBTQ plus themes, and racial issues. PEN America attributes the rise of censorship efforts to the misuse of obscenity laws and inflammatory rhetoric, blaming educational materials as pornographic or inappropriate for young readers. But despite the grim outlook, resistance against these bans is growing. Students and educators and authors across the country are mobilizing and forming coalitions to challenge the bans in court and organizing public demonstrations and read-ins. In Connecticut, over 100 students marched in protest to the removal of LGBTQ plus books from their school libraries. On Tuesday, during a press call hosted by PEN America, Kasey Meehan, the program director for Freedom to Read, revealed the latest discoveries from this report. Meehan clarified that these bans propelled by state legislation frequently zero in on books discussing LGBTQ plus matters and racial topics. Reagan Miller, the director of development for Florida Freedom to Read, addressed parallel concerns in Florida. It's like history kind of repeating itself over and over again, you know, just
it's so weird, like hearing it. It's like, can you believe, like, I would have never thought that, like, my generation would be protesting. Yeah. Like, that is wild to me. Outside protesting like this book is gay. That is just mind blowing. Like, I have no words. Like, because it's not, I'm like,
it just seems so ridiculous.
It
doesn't seem real.
It's like watching those movies they had us watch for history classes. This is what it was like watching that. And like hearing this and seeing this, it seems like we were just like watching something from like so outdated.
Yeah.
I can't believe this is present day.
Andy, what do you think?
Well, I think that it's definitely a repeat of history. I think history always repeats itself. I will say though that there was an op-ed piece in the New York Times a few months ago and saying, you know, it's not as bad as people think because unlike decades past, the books are more available to kids. You know, they can go to bookstores, they can find them online. So the school library is not the only place they can find them. And I think that's the one piece of good news, is that because of the internet, you know, everything's much more available to kids. So hopefully kids will find the material they want. But I do think, you know, people in Florida especially should know that a lot of schools just got rid of their entire libraries.
Yeah, but there's some states that are even trying to limit what kids are able to see on the internet, you know, which will be LGBTQ plus content will be completely eliminated for them.
Why do that when you know they're going to find it everywhere else?
Well, I can take your phone and do it. I can take somebody else's phone and do it.
When I was in school, we found, like, we just went around.
But that's the funny thing about the funny thing about parents protesting these books. Their kids are going to find them.
Either way, they're going to find it.
But this is a lot of books, you know, over 4,000 books, right? That's incredible in 42 states. I mean, take that in, you know, and these books, 47% of these books banned have LGBTQ plus content, right? But not all of them do, you know, there's some Rosa Parks books that are freaking banned. I mean, that's incredibly crazy to me that this is our history and they want to erase it.
Judy Blume.
You
know, how many girls
I must increase my bust.
Like, what?
That's an old school reference for all this young folk out there.
There was a movie. There was a recent movie. Shut up. But that's one of the books, Andy.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
I mean, that's crazy. It's just, it's crazy.
Yeah. What do you think?
What do y'all think would be a solution to this, or like something that we can meet the schools halfway?
Well, firstly, like, I can't even think of an instance where book banning has ever really been a solution or something progressive to even like move forward. It's always like deleting history and deleting art, just in any form, is just always going to be regressive. There's nothing good about it. And I mean, thankfully, the internet does exist and people are still able to access it. But to get rid of such valuable resources, especially to the youth, you know, who are still discovering who they are, it's unfathomable. And honestly, solution-wise is, I guess, to keep doing what we have been doing, just protesting, voting, and just going out there and just really showing up with our voices.
Well, but it's voting for the right people. It's voting for school board members. You know, too many people don't know that it's the local elections that are often the most important, not the national. So we have to know who's running for our school board and who to vote for.
Someone recently just like gave me a card at Pride, I believe, and was like, he was like, I'm running for school director or something. And that was my first time ever encountering someone saying that. And I really am like, if you guys need help, we will help you run your social media. We will help you run your campaigns because all we need is just to know about you. Like that guy telling me, I'm like, who is he? So I'm going to go do my research first.
And you do. And you have to do your research.
You got to come up to people, baby, get people to know so that we can vote for the right people. Because y'all are out there doing a lot of hard work, but it's sometimes people don't get the information. Like, you know, so you got to figure out how to get it out there, and people will help you get it out there so we can vote for the right people.
Listen, a great way, you can go to the Save LGBT website, right? They will give you a rundown as to who's running and if they're running for us, okay? I was that person, I'm embarrassed to say, but before Trump, right? You know, I was one of those people that was like, okay, we have marriage equality, I'm done, right? And then Trump came into the picture and I'm like, oh my God, he's trying to erase me. I need to step up and see what's going on. I used to vote for somebody who had a black or brown last name. That was me, okay? And that's not the way to go, okay? You need to research these people, know what they stand for, know that they support us. Support the people who support us.
Period.
Period.
Right.